This week, we're heading to the Wild West for Ebenezer from 1998.
To Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
You will be haunted by three spirits.
I think I'd rather not.
I'm Christmas present. Ho, ho, ho.
You may be a bit of undigested beef, a fragment of an underdone potato.
Scrooge is getting worse.
Bah humbug.
Based on the title Ebenezer, you'd never know it, but this is a retelling of A Christmas Carol in the Wild West. This version stars Jack Palance as Scrooge. Palance built his career playing intimidating, rough characters and unforgettable movie villains. So casting him as Scrooge feels like it's something that should have happened long before 1998. Modern audiences might recognize him from this.
Maybe we can cut a deal. And as you can see, I'm not happier.
With Palance playing Scrooge, you know this isn't just Dickens and cowboy hat. In this version, Scrooge runs a saloon instead of a counting house. He's a poker player, he cheats at cards, everyone carries a gun, and bah humbug becomes blah blah blah. We open with Scrooge cheating a young homesteader, Sam Benson, out of his money, his land, and even his beloved horse.
I'm gonna miss you, girl.
Then, Bob Cratchit discovers that Scrooge was cheating and immediately gets fired. Already a major diversion from the original story in every way possible. After that, the ghosts begin to appear. Jacob Marley gets a slightly Western makeover and becomes Jacob Marlowe, the former owner of the saloon. Although he really does get reduced to a much smaller part in this adaptation to make room for other characters. By the time The Ghost of Christmas Past arrives, you'll realize this isn't just another Christmas carol, and Scrooge isn't simply relocated to the Old West. It's a totally new story. Instead of a lone businessman who gradually hardens over time, this Ebenezer has an entirely different backstory. His father loses everything and forces Ebenezer to leave the school he loved. Scrooge makes out on his own, where he meets up with Fezziwig. He then ends up stealing all of Fezziwig's money to move west. He actually marries this version's Belle, here named Rebecca, only to betray her by selling her father's ranch after the cattle become sick so that he doesn't have to lose his profit. She then leaves him, and from there he grows into the exact kind of ruthless man you'd expect, cheating people at cards, swindling strangers, and losing everyone who's ever cared about him. Eventually he takes over Marlowe's saloon after cheating him, with the promise to take care of Marlowe's daughter, a promise which he never fulfills. This is a much darker version of Scrooge than Dickens originally wrote. Oh, and once again, we get surprise singing when young Ebenezer breaks into song.
It was Christmas time long ago.
Are you sure you're not making this up?
One thing definitely worth mentioning is The Ghost of Christmas Past. Here she is portrayed as a native woman, played by Michelle Thrush. I'm not really the person to unpack how well this portrayal has aged or how it fits into the broader conversation of Indigenous representation. There are people much more qualified than I to speak on that, and I'll link a few resources below in the description if you want to further explore that conversation. What I can say is Michelle Thrush herself is an Indigenous Canadian actor and an activist, and she is excellent in this role. She would actually go on to win a First Americans in the Arts Award for her supporting performance in Ebenezer, and she continues to have an outstanding career in television and theater. As we continue to go from past to present, we get to see the way this movie plays with the concept of time. Before the Ghost of Christmas Present even arrives, Sam Benson, the man Scrooge cheated, shows up looking for him, and Scrooge assumes that he is one of the ghosts Marlowe warned him about. We've also learned that Sam is engaged to Erica Marlowe, Jacob's daughter. Instead of another ghost arriving to teach Scrooge a lesson, it is a very real person challenging him to a Christmas Day showdown in order to win back his land and his horse.
And you know what hurts the most? He took my horse. My horse.
Then Christmas Present arrives. Not as a giant with a torch, but as a Canadian Mountie riding through the clouds on horseback. We still get the traditional Cratchit dinner and Tiny Tim's toast, although now Bob is having to celebrate after being fired only hours earlier. and hanging over the entire sequence is that foretold gunfight. And this is when it kind of hit me. Why were there Mounties in a Wild West movie? And I realized that once again we have stumbled upon an unassuming Canadian Christmas Carol. This time actually set in Canada. We are in the Canadian frontier. We see Northwest Mounted Police, not an out-of-place bellhop, and we have Mounties. Michelle Thrust is even a Canadian playing the Ghost of Christmas Past. And suddenly this film makes a lot more sense. Oh, just to mention that bellhop is Fred, Scrooge's nephew. But he doesn't play much into this movie. Being in Canada becomes one of this film's adaptation's most distinct quality. And continuing to play with time, the Ghost of Christmas Future lets Scrooge witness the showdown before actually having to live through it himself. It is a clever structural change. Scrooge watches his future self kill Sam, desperately trying to stop it, and then later relives that same moment with the chance to make a different choice. And one last touch I really like, the Ghost of Christmas Future is again played by Jack Palance himself. He is hidden behind a hood as a silent figure until the very end, when Scrooge is forced to confront his future self face to face. What I appreciate most is this adaptation doesn't redeem Scrooge all at once. He doesn't wake up a completely different man. He starts by making better choices, small ones at first. He still goes to the showdown when accused of being
A lily-livered, saddle-wetting coward!
but this time chooses not to kill Sam.
Don't you ever dare to call me lizard-licking again.
By the end, Scrooge pays for Tiny Tim to travel for medical treatment, which is generally not shown in most adaptations of A Christmas Carol. Scrooge gives Erica Marlowe her father's bar, and he ends up playing Santa, not just figuratively for the Cratchits, but literally for the town. They're having a pageant, which has been an underlining story with Fred that I've been glossing over. And once again, yes, we get more surprise singing.
It was Christmas time, long ago, when Mama said to me,
I shouldn't be surprised at this point. For a version where Scrooge isn't Dickens' lonely, old miser, but one who cheats people, stole from Fezziwig, betrayed his wife, stole another man's business, and spent decades looking out for no one but himself, I appreciate that the redemption is earned in smaller moments. He doesn't suddenly become a saint, he starts to just make better choices. And for this version of A Christmas Carol, that truly feels believable. And sometimes that's all it takes. Happy trails, partner.
Now just go, but be here all the earlier the next day.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
And a very Merry Christmas to you, Tim.